All right, what's up, gang? Case here with our at-home Metcon for Tuesday, November 10th. Different style workout today, kind of like doing the second half of Murph, at least similar format. So we're coming out with 10 rounds of 6 alternating plate push-ups, likely a new movement for most of you, and then 8 rotational deadlift. We've done those a few times in the past. Then 10 alternating tuck-ups. Once you get through those 10 rounds, then you'll go out for a 1 mile run, pushing that run, low or lower skill movement opportunity to push the intensity higher at the end. Let's talk about those alternating plate push-ups to start. Really just need something that's about 2 inches high and about shoulder width as far as side to side goes. You're going to start with both hands on top of the object, feet about hip width. Make sure you're keeping a good plank. Take one hand, move it over to the center of the object, other hand off, and then the edge of that plate should basically be the midpoint between your hands. From here, I'm going to come down and touch my chest to the object. Doesn't need to touch the ground. Then I'm going to replace hands, switch over to the other side, and press again. So making sure I'm still about shoulder width. You don't just want to leave your hands planted and get out super wide. So be sure that when you replace that hand in the center, you're moving the other hand over far enough so that you can find a shoulder width stance. Try to keep from rolling hips side to side, and just from moving side to side, it's harder to keep a good plank. So watch sagging, watch piking those hips. If you need to elevate on this movement, you can just give yourself, like make 2 lines and give yourself a center target. Still walking over to one side, pressing. We're kind of overloading that inside arm, walking over to the other side, pressing. And then also that walking side to side is another reason we're doing this movement. That just helps build some more strength and stability through that shoulder. Moving on to our rotational deadlifts next. On these, start in the center, stand tall, then we're going to pivot that back toe, send our hips back, touching just outside the ankle. Still try to keep our back as flat as we can. Some things to watch out for: getting chest too far out over and not bending those knees or pushing the hips back. We're still bending the knees, we're still sending the hips back. That's going to help us protect that spine as we stand. Then twist, send back, stand, twist, send back, stand. Take your time on those. Get into a good breathing rhythm for today. Then we've got 10 alternating tuck-ups. Starting in a hollow position is going to be the most important part. So if you're not able to keep your low back on the ground with hands and feet relatively close to the ground, but not touching the ground, then what I want you to use today is a weighted dead bug instead. You can hold any object over your chest. Doesn't need to be that heavy. Somewhere between 15 and 25 pounds would be plenty, but that's going to give you the foundational core strength to get into that hollow position eventually. If you're ready for those tuck-ups, starting hollow, common flaw that I've been seeing a lot lately is people come down to about this position and then they fire up. It's a lot easier to hold that hollow position if you don't get hands and feet close to the ground and fully extended. So get long, get hands and feet close to the ground, then extend up. Find that balance point at the top so that we're not just moving knee and bringing shoulders only slightly off the ground. Get those shoulders just as high as that knee at the top. Try to keep those toes pointed. Return to hollow and then fire back up. I just finished this workout. Going from the tuck-ups into the back to the push-ups is the hardest part, because once you flip it over, you've got to use that core again in that plank. So I would suggest finishing those tuck-ups, taking 3 to 5 breaths, and then getting into your push-ups from there. Lastly, you've got your 1 mile run. On that, tips I'll give you: set those waypoints. Actually, first tip is don't waste time. So as soon as you finish that last tuck-up, take off on that run. You know it's going to be coming too, so don't put yourself in that position where you sprint to finish that round and then you have to walk for the first 200 meters. Pace through that last round so you know you can take off on that run. From there, set those waypoints. You know your run course. I've got some different corners in my neighborhood. So it was push to the first corner, push to the second corner, push to the third corner. All right, now I've just got to make it back to the driveway. Play those mental games with yourself because that running is just all output at that point. It's just you in your own head. So you've got to find those ways to keep pushing yourself to that next goal. Total time is your score today. Good luck on this workout, and then we'll see you back tomorrow for some strength and conditioning work.